Hi guys, my name is Yamileth Garcia de Andrade, and today I will talking about a little bit about an interesting topic. So the topic is what is linguistic and the branches of linguistics. So the learning competence is at the end of this lesson, a student will be able to identify what is linguistic in order to using the reinforced K concept about the branches of linguistics, taking into account the previous knowledge in the class. But before to start, I'm going to show you a quote. So the quote said, without language, thought is a veil, uncharted nebula. This is one is pretty straightforward. I believe that the most effective way to understand a culture is through the language people use. But language is not only important because it allows one person to communicate with another. It is also allows us to formulate and organize our thoughts. So continue. What is linguistic? Linguistic is the study of language, how it is input together and how the functions, various building blocks of different types of size are combined to make up a language. Sounds are brought together and sometimes when this happens, they change their form and do interesting things. Words are arranged in certain order. And sometimes the beginning and the ending of the word are changed to adjust the meaning. So, in other words, linguistics are people who study linguistics. But let me explain you about the branch of linguistics. Are phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantic, and pragmatics. So in this class, I'm going to talking about them. First, we have phonetics. The definition of phonetic is the study of the sounds of speech. It is include understanding how sounds are made using the mouth, nose, teeth, and tongue, and also understand how the hair hears those sounds and can tell them apart. A study of phonetics involves pragmatic producing sounds and figures out which sound you heard. The waveform of each sound can be analyzed with the help of computer programs. In sign language, phonetic refers to the positive shape movement of use of physical space. The second one is phonology. Phonology makes use of the phonetic in order to see how sound or sign are arranged in a system for each language. In phonology, it matters whether sounds are contrastive or not, or that is, whether substituting one sound for another giving different or contrastive meaning. For example, in English, the letter R and all are two different sounds, and the words roll and lol differ according to which of the sounds is used. But in some language, R and all are variations of the same sound. The other example is cat, rat, cat, hat, cat, mat, cat, sat. So in this case, the words are different meanings, but has the similar sounds. They could never make a meaning difference in words that differ by only that sound. Phonologists describe the contrast consonants and vowels in a language and how pronunciation is affected. by the position of the sounds in the word and the sounds that are nearby. They are also interested in the syllable, phrase, rhythm, tone, and intonations. The third is morphology. Morphology is the study of words. Morphemes are the minimal units of words that have a meaning and cannot be subdivided further. There are two main types, free and bound. Free morpheme can occur alone, and bound morpheme must occur with another morpheme. For example, an example of a free morpheme is bad. And an example of a bound morpheme is li. It is bound because, although it has meaning, it cannot stand alone. It must be attached to another morpheme that produce a word. For example, free morpheme bad, bound morphemes li, and we produce the word badly. The fourth, we have syntax. So, syntax is the study of how phrases, clauses, and sentences are constructed and combined in particular language. Writing a grammar requires defining the rules that govern the structure of the sentences of the language. Such rules involve both the order of words and the form of words in their various possible positions. So, in syntax is the order of arrangement of words and phrases to form a proper sentences. For example, the most basic syntax follows a subject plus verb plus predicate. Example of this, Juan hit the ball. As you can see, syntax allows us to understand that we shouldn't write hit Juan the ball. That is incorrect. So this sentence is incorrect. So syntax helps you to order words and phrases to form a proper sentences. We have the fifth, is semantics. So semantics is the study and analysis of how language is used figuratively and literally to produce meaning. Semantics seeks to describe how words are used, not to prescribe how they should be used. For example, examples of semantics. A toy block. That could be called a block, a cube, or a toy. A child could be called a child, kid, boy, girl, son, or daughter. Example of semantics in literature. Romeo and Juliet refers to the abstract concept of the meaning of a name by comparing Romeo to a flower. Example, oh, be some other name. What is in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called. As you can see, Juliet used the abstract concept of the meaning of a name, and she made a comparison. And the last branch is pragmatics. So, pragmatic is the study of how context affects the meaning. such as how sentences are interpreted in certain situations, or the interpretation of linguistic meaning in context. Linguistic in context is discourse that precedes a sentence to be interpreted in situational context. Is knowledge about the words. In the following sentences that we're going to show you is. So, the example of this is the kids have eaten already and surprisingly, they are hungry. So, the linguistic context helps to interpret the second sentence, depending on what the first sentence says. The situational context helps to interpret the second sentences because it is common knowledge that humans are not usually hungry after eating. So this is a way pragmatic concerns the negotiation of meaning between the speaker and the listener. It takes into consideration the context utterance in a sense. Pragmatic is the study of the aspect of meaning in language, use that are dependent on the speakers, the address, and other features of the context of utterance, such as the following principles of communications, speaker goals, presuppositions, diaxis, speech act, and implicature. Without pragmatics, it would be difficult to understand language and respond to it. Without pragmatic, we wouldn't not to have a holistic understanding of what people mean and their intention when they speak. In conclusion, branches of linguistics with this definition, explanation, and example that I provide, I consider various aspects and branches of linguistics, basic linguistics and applied linguistics alike. Is focused on what language is characteristic and the different level in which we study. So, I hope that this topic has served you well for your knowledge and thank you for your attention. Have a nice day. Bye bye.